It's an honor to be here with all of you. Look around. This is one of the more historic conference rooms of the Senate where laws are made. But laws don't just happen in vacuums. They're not enforced unless people like you and others do it. I am an environmental lawyer. I've served most of my time in the prosecutorial side, trying to get people to comply with the laws that come out of places like this. Environmental law is really unusual in the sense that citizens are involved in so many different ways. They're involved because they can bring cases themselves. Every consent decree, every settlement we did, and I led the negotiations against BP on Deepwater Horizon. That settlement went out to the public, and there were 8 public meetings to get input on that particular consent decree. So environmental law is set up for people to be involved because it just does not happen without it. The Inspector General of the Department of Justice does not have enough people unless you are involved. So with that in mind, here's my story. Last December, I was honored to go to Miami. I was Assistant Attorney General in the Environment Division, and we announced the largest penalty action in a criminal case ever for a cruise ship, the Princess Cruise Line, that had been dumping illegally into the ocean. And it was a $40 million settlement that was wonderful. The question you should ask me is, how did we know? Because think about it, a ship, and some of you have been on cruises, a ship is like a floating city. And by the way, it has all the things that cities have. And ships are actually set up to handle waste and oil and all those things, and there's ways to handle it illegally. You cheat if, in fact, you are dumping it right into the water without any of those restrictions. That is illegal. But the question is, though, how do you know? Because, again, these are floating cities, and these are all friends and co-workers that are coming together, and they're together for months at a time. Here's how we knew. A 27-year-old third engineer who had just graduated from the Maritime Academy, had his first job on the Princess cruise ship, first job. And coming out of England, one of his jobs was to look at where they were handling and storing waste oil. And he knew that it was full. He knew they could not handle anymore. And then he came back and it wasn't full anymore. And he decided something was going wrong, and he found what we later called, and what we showed to the court, called a magic pipe. It wasn't very magic. It was just a pipe that went around the storage and dumped it right into the ocean. He took pictures of that, and then he reported it to the Coast Guard of the United Kingdom, who then reported it to our Coast Guard. So when the ship came into Miami, we were able to be there and arrest the people involved. So last December, we went before the court and we had a plea agreement. And I told you, it was the largest, $40 million. Some of that money, by the way, going to communities ever in the history of the United States. What we told the court, it would not happen. It would not happen without that 27-year-old third engineer on his first job. Would not have happened. He took pictures. He came to Miami. He helped prep the witnesses. He helped us show inside how these things were working. He could show the gauges and the lines. We actually seized the magic pipe, which we then presented in the press conference that I was in. We told the court about that. 2 months ago, we went before Judge Seitz in Miami, and we asked the court to award him money for his contribution, which, by the way, he had not asked for. We asked that. And remember, you just heard from Representative Kathleen Rice something called the Act for Prevention of Pollution on Ships, which, by the way, sounds exactly like it is. But that act allows the Department of Justice to take a half of any penalty given under that statute and give it to the whistleblower. We asked for the maximum. There was a $2 million penalty under that statute. We asked for the maximum, and 2 months ago, the judge gave that 27-year-old third engineer $1 million. I did testify before Congress that we're on a pathway. I was a co-chair of the illegal wildlife trafficking task force that the president had set up, and I did testify that if we do not change where we are, then in our lifetime, there will not be elephants and rhinoceroses. We'll be showing pictures of that. Stay involved, do the things that Steve Cohen and others are talking about. My colleague at the Department of Justice, John Webb, who led that effort on illegal wildlife trafficking, is here today. If you see something, say something. It's an honor to be with you.